Hello all, it's James Johnson aka Solve for Blade. Welcome back to my channel, welcome back to my content, and welcome to a game called Windward. I'm gonna go over kind of a help video. I'm gonna do a couple of these actually, but in this one I'm primarily gonna be focusing on what you do with trade goods, how you figure out what to do with trade goods, what good are trade goods, and the unintuitive difficulties that come around trade goods. So with that being said, let's jump into the game. Well, actually the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to share a tip that I just recently found out about that helps to fix a huge problem with the game that came with one of the most recent patches. That is UI scaling. So if I go to enter here, or I enter into the port, and I open up my inventory, you can see, look, it's beautiful and wonderful, but that's not the way it used to be, because I changed this. And the way that you can do it is you can type slash here in chat, and you can go to UI size, and we'll do something like 500 here. The bigger the number, the smaller it makes things. So we're gonna go UI size 500, which is huge, right? It just covers everything up. It's terrible. It's awful. And then I can go UI size 800. Okay, I think this is about what the game is currently at. Yeah, this is what the game is currently set at right now. That's kind of broken. As you can see when you go in here, you've got stuff covering up, and it causes a big problem, right? Because you can't see what's underneath the windows. In fact, yeah, the windows snap back. It covers stuff up. This is about what the game is currently default set at. But if you come in here and you type again UI size, I'm gonna go with say 1200. Look at that. That's beautiful. I can easily see what's in my inventory on both sides. I can, yeah, this is much better. This is where this UI size should be set at, somewhere around 1200, maybe 1000. I have to squint a little bit with my eyes. Yeah, let's try 1000. Size 1000. Actually, I like that. That's perfect. Okay, I'm gonna go with UI size 1000. I'm on a 1080p monitor, graphics card, etc. setup, so that's what I'm using. Anyway, the point of this video is to show you what to do with these frustrating trade goods. Now I'm going to show you using hematite, since I've got a bit of hematite here in storage of my province. So I'm gonna fill my ship's hold right now with hematite. Now you can see that there is currently a number on these where there's not a number on my silk cloth. When you have a number on the trade goods, you're at a location where that location will buy and sell them. Obviously, this particular location is a better place to buy them, because if we look at the map, or the world map, you'll see that, oh Christ, we got a battle? Of course we have a battle. I have battles like every 5 minutes here. Anyway, you can see that there's icons here. The top two icons are the crafting buildings that exist in the province. The pitchfork being the farm, and the pick being the stonecutter. So I have a farm and a stonecutter here inside of the province of Johnsonville. Then the resources that are available in Johnsonville are hematite, what I just purchased, raw silk, and sugar. The farm up there collects sugar and raw silk, so that's why I built the farm here in Johnsonville. And the stonecutter, yeah, the stonecutter. Let's go to the stonecutter here. The stonecutter doesn't. Okay, we open up here. So if you look over on your character, you'll have this anvil. The anvil shows where the crafting locations are. Like, for example, the stonecutter here has basic masonry, which is coral that turns into basic masonry. Or you can take clay and turn it into clay masonry. Or you can take limestone and clay and turn it into apprentice masonry. You can take granite. This is granite here, and it turns into artisan masonry. And you can take 3 granites across plus the limestone and the clay to make masterwork masonry. Now, had I been thinking better about choosing... Okay, alright, I have different trains of thought going in my mind, and I'm trying to do this so I'm not confusing the viewer. So I'm going to ignore what I was just about to go into and ramble on. Anyway, so the hematite is produced here. It's one of the natural resources that's available in this port, as well as sugar and raw silk. As you can see, when we hover over the raw silk, you'll see that we make 0.38 of it per day, and on the sugar, it's not telling us how much we're making per day. Coral, that's how much is being used per day, so 1.08 of coral is being used, but we don't have any coral. Coral gets used by the stonecutter to make the basic masonry and clay. Clay obviously is used by the stonecutter as well as the limestone is used by the stonecutter. The hematite, however, I should have built a blacksmithy here instead of the stonecutter. It would have made more sense to utilize this raw resource that I have available on this province. At the same time, the reason I did go with the workshop, which is I wasn't going to go into this, but there's, if you click here, you're going to notice that you have growth, you have prosperity, and then you have how your actual workshops do. The farm, for instance, it needs masonry to function, and it needs lumber to function. Because I have some masonry that happens here, I have masonry available to meet the needs of the farm to function. However, had I built a smith here, I would have had the metal available to help with the upkeep of the farm. With the stonecutter shack, if I build a smithy here in the future, I'll be able to produce the metal here, and I'll be able to take the hematite and turn it into iron right here without having to leave. So basically, I hope I'm not confusing you guys, but as your provinces level up, you'll unlock the options of being able to choose things you want to what's the word I'm looking for? Workshops that you'll want. You'll be given the option, if you founded the province like I did this province, you'll be asked to weigh in on which workshops to build first. But that only happens when you get the quest to found a province. If it's an AI founded province that you had nothing to do with, you're not going to be given an option on what workshops should be built where. Okay, so now then, I am going to travel over here to Yardan. Why am I traveling to Yardan? Because it has a blacksmith symbol as one of the crafting buildings that exist in the province. And it's the nearest one, I believe, to me. It is. So I have this cargo hold full of a resource that requires the blacksmith to refine it. So off we go to Yardan. It's a little bit of a drive. We'll get there eventually. Alright, so we've arrived in Yardan. Now we have to sail to one of the towns, because we can't hit I and open up a workshop here, because we have to be in a town to open up the workshops. Alright, now we'll stop in here. We're at port. So we can hit the blacksmith icon, and we can pull up the smith workshop. There's also a ranch here, but we'll stick with the smith workshop at this point in time. If we had scrap metal, we would be able to make tin plates or copper bars. It's a 50% chance of one or the other happening when you do the combine to craft it. Now if we go down to the second tin recipe, it uses cassiterite to have a 90% chance of making tin or 10% chance of making copper when you combine it. Copper uses that to make this. Aluminum uses bauxite to make those. Iron uses hematite, that's why we came here, to make iron. Does have a 10% chance of making copper. Now, we're going to click combine, but nothing's going to happen because it's going to say our cargo hold is full. Cargo hold full. So what you can do here is you could pull one of these goods down into your trash can. I did not technically throw this away yet. It's not gone until you throw something else on top of it. It's like your trash bin on your computer. It's not gone until you physically empty the trash bin. So now if I hit combine, I get an iron ore. I'm probably going to get iron for most of it because the copper is only a 10% chance at happening. So we're going to keep clicking these. I did get a copper that time, which is going to cause me a problem, isn't it? Yeah. So what I'm going to do, well, I'm just going to pull the copper off over here and I'm going to sell it. And I'll keep combining. Can I combine you now? No. Well, I'm just going to... I came over here just to show you how this functions. So I'm just going to sell all the iron here. Okay. I'm pretty sure I made money. The hematite, I think I bought it around 200 and something. Anyway, let's show you some more information about how some of this stuff works. Let's grab raw meat. Good example, because we happen to be in a place that has a ranch. So I can take all of this raw meat that I can buy here. I can just, well, there's only 7 available evidently to buy. And I can combine these all into cooked meat. And while I'm here, I'm going to... No, I can't buy any of the tin. Raw meat, wool would be wonderful, but... Alright. So now we have a bunch of cooked meat. We're going to leave here. Let me pick a decent direction to leave from. Some of these maps can be difficult to get out of because of the land. This is one of the more difficult ones. going to open the world map. So, if you notice, I have silk cloth. How would you know where to go to take silk cloth? Well, silk cloth, I happen to know, you should take to places that manufacture clothes. Seems pretty self-evident, right? Silk probably is a decent material for manufacturing clothes, as would be linen and or wool. So I could get rid of that piece of silk here in Mesworth because it's got a clothes manufacturer. The food you can get rid of anywhere because food is needed everywhere. And I'm going to touch on that a bit more here shortly. So I'm just coming up here to Mesworth. We're going to jump in here. And you're going to see that Mesworth will indeed want that silk cloth, and I'm not just talking out my bunhole. So I pull in here, hit enter, open up the whatchamacallit, and evidently I was talking out my bunhole. Mesworth does not want the silk cloth. However, if we go into Mesworth and go to the clothing workshop, you can see that they don't have all the... Mesworth doesn't want silk cloth because Mesworth does not have a high enough level clothing workshop to actually manufacture silk stuff like silk clothing. So there is no demand for silk cloth here, thus Mesworth does not want this good. I just learned something here, that there's different demands based off of different levels of workshops, which makes complete sense actually. But anyway, I came here for another reason. I came here for coral? Is that why I'm going to be here? Or water? Well, there's no water for sale right now. So let's go with coral. That'll fill up my inventory. I just so happen to know that coral is used in the... there is not a thing here. Coral is used to manufacture masonry. And since I have a stonecutter back in my province, I can utilize this coral to get transferred into further masonry. Now, however, hopefully you're starting to understand how this system works. Let's look. I want to show you one more thing that I'm forgetting to cover. There's this gossip down here, and at the bottom of the gossip, you can type stuff in to the gossip thing. Like, for example, if you didn't know what to do with silk cloth, you could ask about it. You could type in silk cloth and hit enter. And all you get back in response to your question are a bunch of blank, confused stares. Okay, maybe just try silk. The best item in this province matching that description is of masterwork quality, rumored to be found in Mesworth. So what is it talking about there? So the game seems to think that there's some sort of masterwork quality silk. Which there isn't. Now, what I think that... So what happens here is this system, I wanted to kind of show how not really lackluster it is, or how lackluster it is. That's a better way to put it. I probably sold some silk clothes here at some point for money. And that's why it's thinking that Mesworth is the best answer to the question. I'm just going to type in some other random things here, like coral. Coral is most abundant in Mesworth. I'm in Mesworth right now. I just bought a bunch of coral. Yes, coral is abundant in Mesworth because of the workshop that it has. If we hover over Mesworth, we see it has that fishing icon. Well, the fishery not only catches fish, but it also harvests coral. From what I gather, that's why Mesworth has a lot of coral, is because of the fishery. So one could think that if you went down to... Where was it? There's another place with a fishery around here. Yeah, down here. If you went down to Farnville, you'd probably find coral here as well, because it's got a fishery. Of these symbols that you see at the top of Mesworth, the one in the middle, it looks like a fish, so it represents a fishery. The one on the left is a shirt that represents a clothing workshop, and the one on the right is your brewery. It makes drinks. Of all the workshops in the game, that might be the most important workshop in the game, in my opinion. Why is that such an important workshop? Because it makes beverages. Why are beverages so important? Well, remember when I told you that there's ways to grow your town? There's three things that a town needs to grow. It needs food, it needs beverage, and it needs clothing. Food is probably the easiest one of the three to get. You can pretty much go to any place with a ranch and get meat and get large amounts of meat. But depending on your map and how it progresses, you will find that there's not a lot of breweries. There is the one brewery in Mesworth, because Mesworth is one of the starting towns that the game starts with. So you know that your map will at least have the brewery in Mesworth. And so since Mesworth has the brewery, it's going to be key for developing all the other towns in the game, because it's the one place that's going to have a fairly abundant amount of water. Water is your first basic beverage. So all the water in Mesworth is really going to be demanded by almost all the rest of the towns in the game in order to grow all the rest of the towns, because they're going to be wanting Mesworth's water to grow the town. Alright, so now that I've harped on that, let's head back to my home province of Johnsonville with the coral and the meat. go. So yeah, the starting towns are Mesworth, Archie, Yardan, Lawnbury, and Lays Creek. I believe those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are the 5 starting towns in the game. And every other town kind of gets developed off of them as the AI gets the missions to create new towns, or the player, in my case, got the mission to create Johnsonville here. So I've been attempting to grow Johnsonville. That's kind of like my quest in the game, is to grow Johnsonville. So I keep hauling back to Johnsonville food, water, and clothing. I have to deal with this pirate. He's chasing someone around or something. Pirates are the bane of my existence. That's because I kind of have the perfect perfect storm for pirates here in Johnsonville, and I'll explain that in a second. Damn it. I would really love to see the pirates even toned down more than what they've already been toned down. So evidently pirates recently have been nerfed, but they need to be nerfed more. They're still just too much. Alright. Let's pull into port here. The capital city of Johnsonville. Alright. So as you can see, my growth is currently absent. My poverty is fair. My growth is absent. How has that happened? Well, we're about to fix that a little bit. So we're going to pull this food over here. So now the province has more food. Now that it has more food, it should grow better. Alright, and we'll pull the coral over and sell it, because the coral is needed to make the masonry down here. Okay. Yeah. The new problem that's arisen with menus pausing the game is this. It gets in the way. Okay, so as I'm trying to show here, if you hover over growth, what's needed for growth? We need food, we need clothing, we need beverages. Now, I just brought food here, we already have clothing, so if I want to continue to grow Johnsonville, I need to go back out and get more beverages. However, I just came from the beverage manufacturing capital of the game, and it was out of beverages. There's no beverages currently in Mesworth to buy, so I'm kind of SOL on getting more beverages to grow Johnsonville at this point in time, because Mesworth is out of beverages. Prosperity. How do you make your prosperity go up and down? Well, it's actually pretty simple. If I want to lower the prosperity, I can simply sell a bunch of goods to Johnsonville. If I want to raise the prosperity, I can simply come in here and buy a bunch of goods in Johnsonville and then go take them somewhere else and sell them. So that's the easiest way to kind of raise and sell prosperity. Now, what was I saying about having the perfect storm for pirates here in my province of Johnsonville? It's this here, security. You can see this security value wherever you go, based off of looking at the province list. You'll see that my security here is 19. It's low-ish. You start at 10 security, I think, and so I've only managed to get 9 more points of security in the province, and that's basically coming from the towers. Each tower I've built, I've managed to build 3 so far, has given me 3, 6, 9 extra points of security to make it 19. More towns unlock more quests for possibly building a building. Right now I have local patrols, but I don't have any quests to build a tower, for instance. This is where you would find them in the quests. Those are pretty important. You want to bring up the security of the territory to make pirates less common. So I've also noticed I get inundated with pirates more than other places, and I believe that it also has to do with not just security, but also the fact that I'm constantly keeping my growth and prosperity up in my province. So my province is rich, typically rich, compared to the amount of security available. So because I have low security and a somewhat rich province, the pirates are like, hey, there's an easy target over there that we can raid. When pirates successfully raid, they lower your prosperity quite a bit. It's no bueno. And they also lower your growth quite a bit. Right now, it seems I'm having a worker strike. Johnsonville is currently experiencing a worker strike in its farm. Its production output has been reduced by 20. That kind of sucks. Because one good things about the farm, for me, is that the farm creates beverage. It creates water. So the farm helps to produce one of the resources you need to grow a town. But the farm doesn't produce a lot of beverages. Not anywhere as near as much as a brewery does. But the farm does produce a little bit of water, which helps to grow the town. And of course, the town also produces vegetables, which is food that helps to grow the town. And because I also built I chose to build the So I'm getting food and beverages from a farm. A farm is a good building for growth of your province because it gives water and it gives food. I don't have anything that gives me clothing here, but I do have a basic resource that's collected here in the way of silk. So I collect all the silk I can, but sadly we're not getting a lot of silk made right now. And I take that silk and I store it up here in my cargo hold. And I run it over to damn it. World map. And I run it over to here in Schenberg because there is a clothing manufacturer here. It's my nearest neighbor, it has a clothing manufacturer. So I take my silk, I come over here, I turn it into silk cloth, I turn the silk cloth into silk shirts, I come back here and I sell it in Johnsonville. And that allows me to have silk or clothes, it allows me to have water from the farm and lettuce from the farm. So I have all the 3 components I need to grow Johnsonville relatively easily. And it seems like I have a fight going on. These fights are non-stop. They happen like every 5 minutes in Johnsonville. I'm so sick of it. If a developer ever watches this, please, I get the concept that yes, I have a rich province here, and yes, the security is low, and yes, pirates are wanting to raid me, but can I get some sort of cooldown after defeating a pirate raid of, I don't know, a week or something? I have to fight off a new pirate raid almost twice a day is just absolutely nuts. But anyway, I've touched on most of the points I wanted to make in this video. Any more rambling is just going to make the video longer, and having long help videos just makes people tune out. Hopefully this helps you. Anyway, I'm James Johnson, aka Softwareblade. This is my content. Hopefully you're enjoying it. If so, please smash that like button, consider subscribing, and until the next time, all, peace.